All right, welcome back to part four of the Cash Flow Empire Live funnel review. Okay, so where we left off was talking about um, basically problem, solution, and then our solution to the sales page. So, like I said, the this page kind of doesn't follow that. It's kind of getting you. It's kind of like selling you into the 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 event before really telling you why, like what's the problem, right? It's getting into kind of like describing what you're going to learn in the event, and it's like I need to be convinced that I need this thing, right? Before I need to be convinced that first I need to be convinced that I need to pay off my mortgage in 5 years. I mean, maybe I that would be nice, but what's the advantage of doing that? What's that cost for me not paying off my mortgage in 5 years? I need to be convinced of that, and I don't see that anywhere up until I don't see that actually anywhere on the page. Like, why is it so important? I mean, there's a lot of people who advocate um, you should have a 30-year mortgage because then they're like then you have more money to on hand to spend on other stuff. Um, because if you pay it off in 5 years, then you're gonna have to pay more money up front. So hasn't convinced me that yet. And then it's already trying to get me into some event. So you need to convince me why that's important, why I need to do like why is that so important, um, and and why and how I can why is it important and what's the strategy for doing that? Because I've never heard of this strategy. So it really basically it's just telling you this, the benefits. I mean, this is the benefit of this event. They call it a challenge. We discussed that in the last one. And more benefits of all this stuff. I talk about this over and over and over in every one of my videos. You look at my videos, just watch any one of them. I'll talk about this. If you can copy your copy and put it on somebody else's sales page and it looks completely normal, then you haven't really done anything. And a lot of this is just very vague, um, just very generalized, benefits. I mean, what what got me into this um, is paying off 5 years of mortgage. Like it says one thing, but then it totally forgets about it during the whole page. It doesn't even really even talk about it. It mentions it a few times, but it doesn't reiterate like I said, like in the beginning of this video. Why is that important? Why is it important? Um, I mean, you're assuming that people know, like, why is it important? Like I just said, I'm not going to repeat it, but like there'll be financial advisors and say, yeah, you shouldn't pay it off early. You shouldn't have pay off your mortgage in 5 years. That's crazy. You should extend it because that gives you more money now to do other stuff with. So you haven't really convinced me, but you're already trying to get me into this event. Um, and then now you're calling it a challenge. Some of these are I mean, these are interesting, but they're not. It's just like anybody else can say this, and it sounds too broad, too general. I'm not confident that you're the guy that can tell me how to do this. Okay, he introduces himself, Joseph Aaron. I'll show you how the banks are ripping you off. I mean, I like that, right? I want to learn more about that. I want to learn that way like up here before diving into your event. I want like you have obviously some expertise and secret knowledge or special knowledge of how the banks are ripping you off. I want to know that. Like that's part of like you're kind of educating people and why that's a problem. Um, and then so the concept is good, but the copy is just not great. So it says, I've seen countless, okay, so I've seen I've seen countless clients transform their financial situations by moving away from traditional mortgage payments. Okay, very interesting. Now, okay, um, okay, got my attention. And let me tell you something that might shock you. Okay, so this is where copy gets really, really dumb. That might shock you. The banks are playing you. Guess what? I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. That doesn't shock me. I mean, banks are always playing people and ripping people off. They got some really, really smart people. They write and they have small print on everything. Their credit card applications, their checking account applications, and mortgage thing. I mean, the, I everybody knows that. It's not shocking. I would just say you got to be careful about the words. I would say, now let me remind you of something you already know. The banks are playing you, and but you can play them back or something along those lines. But don't say crap like it's going to shock you. I mean, that's just stupid. Like you write enough of that on your sales people are just going to turn you off. Okay. It's not personal, it's business. Okay. They built a system that quietly siphons off your money while convince you it's a normal way to finance a home. Beautiful. I like it because he's explaining like most people think this is normal, the mortgage, oh you do the mortgage, but they're really just screwing you. And it's not, you know, it may be surprising to people, but it's like shocking. I don't know. Okay, and here's the kicker. It's working. Okay, good, good, good. Um, you know, this and here's the thing that gets me. It's like he's saying shock you, and then he said it in the video, like this is gonna shock you, but they have, fees and stuff. Like, then don't tell me it's not shocking. Those sneaky fees. Okay, so of course, a mountain of interest. Beautiful. Telling me this is a problem. But what most people don't realize is just how much it's costing them. I love it. Okay, so this is interesting. For the average American, the impact is 1.5 to 2.5 million over the course of their life. This is how I would do it. I personalize it. I go, if you're like most Americans, this is costing you up to 2.5 million dollars over the course of your life. How do you feel about that? They're stealing almost up to 2.5 million dollars from your pocket, right out from under you. But it doesn't have to be that way. That's how I'd phrase it. Okay, so it's not bad. Let that sink in. That's money you'll never see. Beautiful. Money that could have funded your dreams and built your investments and secured you. Okay, so this is all really good. I would just it's this part's I know it's in bold and somebody's like scrolling through, but it's just I would make it almost like a little subheader, man. Like, how would you like to have 2.5 million dollars in your pocket, or something like that? That'll grab because a lot of people are just gonna kind of scroll over and probably not. Okay, you are burning money. Okay, the worst part, it doesn't have to be this way. Okay, I'm not sure if that's the worst part. It doesn't have to be this way, but okay. When I first read this, it was just I mean, if I was reading this as a regular person, I would have closed it right away because it's kind of confusing. Because it says the average Australian who uses the method will be sharing pays up. Here it says pays up, but pays off two homes in 14 years. Um, right now, I'm already saying, oh, this is for Australians. I must be on the wrong page. I would have just clicked. I would have been like, even reviewing this funnel, I was about to click off. I'm like, well, I don't want to review some Australian thing. Um, but anyway, I would have phrased it differently. Okay, here we go. They're not making any more than money. That they don't have lower interest rates than us. They just use a different financial instrument where they pay off their home debt. Okay, so I like everything they say. They just need to rephrase it better and just go, you know, unlike people like us in America, the average, the Australians have a different method or a different way of doing, it. And they can pay off, like, but you the way it was phrased, it just made it sound like this was gonna be for Australians. Okay, I like this. The custom mortgage method that changes everything. Okay, so the custom mortgage, like most people probably haven't heard of like this, right? The custom mortgage method. Um, so okay, see, and this is where you gotta. I'm gonna read some copy and just pay attention to the copy. Okay, so a few years ago, a team of hedge fund analysts discovered something extraordinary. They were analyzing the financial carnage left behind by the 2008 crash and 2020 pandemic. What they found shocked them. A small group of people had weathered these financial storms nearly untouched. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure hedge funds they would be like shocked. If it's small, I mean everybody, you know, on every spectrum, somebody's going to be, it's like the bell curve, right? The outliers. There's going to be a small group that are going to do really, really well. And then it's going to be, then a small group is going to be like, forget it, they die. And then they get the bell curve where the chunk of the people, in these two situations probably didn't do too well. But I don't think a hedge fund analyst is going to be really shocked. You know, it shocked them. I don't really believe that. Okay. Um, while others were defaulting on their loans, they weren't using traditional mortgages. Okay, beautiful. They weren't tied to the same reason. Instead, they were using what I call custom mortgage method. Okay, this is great. This grabs your attention. It's custom. It's like this is something that nobody else was doing. Um, and a way to finance a home that drastically reduces interest payments, pays off your home in 5 to 10 years instead of 30. Beautiful. Frees up cash flow to build wealth, not just to survive. Okay, beautiful. Um, the rest of this is kind of meaningless. Um, okay, so you got to be careful about using, anecdotes and stories. Like this, I mean, he's got two of them in here that are just really boring. I remember hearing about a man who lost his home during the recent financial crisis. Not because he didn't have equity, but because he couldn't access it when he needed it most. Um, that was somebody's father, and so just kind of this empathy copy, and he lost everything. Okay, who is this person? I don't know. Somebody you heard about. A few years ago, my friend Michael had a similar experience in one of his homes, with one of his homes. Oh, that's awful. He had one. Looking back, Michael said he was completely blindsided. He told me, Joe, I'd been making payments on this house for years. Why couldn't I get access to the equity I had built? All right, so the answer, because banks design mortgages to benefit themselves, not you. That's when Michael discovered the custom mortgage method. Okay, he ran the numbers. Okay, da, 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 da. Okay, and then it says Michael's problems were fixed. All right, and then he paid off his in 4 years. Okay, so let's just get down to some of these bigger sections. Um, so why traditional mortgages are financial crack for middle America. Um, I like that headline. It's like it. I mean, I guess it could be phrased a little bit better because I don't know if people are addicted to mortgage. I mean, I guess in a lot of ways, traditional. I mean, as opposed to something else. I would say why mortgages are because people want to have they want to have their thing like their house, but they can't afford it, but they still want it, so they're willing to be in debt for 30 years. But I don't know if traditional mortgages is the financial crack. I think it's more like um, just mortgage in of itself. And I know the mortgages they are traditional. I guess it just seems like a qualifier that seems like um, I guess I would phrase it differently by home mortgages or something like that. It's just traditional seems like um, I don't know. Okay, so let's just get down to a billionaire hedge fund manager once said something that stuck. Mortgages are financial. Okay, so he says mortgages are financial crack for middle America. So That's the kind of phrase, just mortgages in general. The poor can't get them and the rich don't use them. Okay, so I'm gonna get dive deep on the next part 5. I wanted to keep this short. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in part 5.